Most people meet the idea of towing capacity in a moment of excitement. You're standing on a dealership lot, scrolling listings late at night, or imagining weekends on the road with an RV behind you. Somewhere in that moment, a number appears. 10,000 pounds, 12,000 pounds, 15,000 pounds. It feels definitive, official, almost scientific, a promise. This vehicle can tow this much, therefore you are safe. Therefore you are fine. Therefore the dream works. That number is comforting because it feels like a rule you can trust. But towing capacity, as it is commonly presented, is one of the most misunderstood and misleading numbers in the RV world. Not because it is fake, but because it is incomplete in a way that can quietly put people in danger, strain vehicles beyond reason, and turn relaxing trips into stressful, exhausting drives. The truth is that towing capacity is calculated under conditions that almost never exist in real RV travel. It assumes a stripped-down vehicle, a single driver, no passengers, no cargo, no aftermarket accessories, no bikes, no coolers, no tools, no dogs, no kids, no full fuel tank, and no real-world unpredictability. It is a best-case scenario number, not a lived reality number, and yet it is treated as the final word when manufacturers calculate towing capacity. They start with the maximum combined weight the vehicle can safely handle. This includes the vehicle itself, the trailer, and everything inside both. From that maximum, they subtract the weight of a base, model vehicle with almost nothing in it. What remains becomes the advertised towing capacity. That base model often does not resemble the truck or SUV people actually buy. Real vehicles have larger engines, four-wheel drive systems, sunroofs, leather seats, skid plates, technology packages, and heavier wheels. Every upgrade adds weight, and every pound added to the vehicle is a pound removed from what it can safely tow. Now add people. A driver alone can easily weigh 200 pounds. Add a passenger, children, pets, and suddenly several hundred pounds have quietly eaten into the margin. Add luggage, camping gear, food, water, tools, generators, grills, chairs, spare parts, and suddenly the number on the brochure is no longer even close to reality. Yet the towing capacity number remains unchanged, printed in bold letters as if none of this exists. What makes this especially dangerous for RVs is tongue weight. RV trailers place a significant amount of their weight directly onto the tow vehicle through the hitch. This downward force counts against the vehicle's payload capacity, not its towing capacity. Payload capacity is how much weight the vehicle can carry on its own frame, including people, cargo, and tongue weight combined. Many RV owners never hear the word payload until after something goes wrong. A vehicle can technically tow a heavy trailer while being dangerously overloaded in payload. This is one of the most common and least explained traps in RV towing. A trailer might weigh within the advertised towing capacity, but the tongue weight alone can exceed what the vehicle can safely carry once passengers and gear are added. When this happens, the rear suspension compresses, steering becomes light, braking distances increase, and stability suffers. The vehicle may feel floaty, vague, or exhausting to control, especially in wind or on uneven roads. Dealers often focus on the towing capacity because it sounds impressive and simple. Payload capacity is usually printed in small text on a sticker inside the driver's door, and the number is often shockingly low compared to expectations. Many half-ton trucks, for example, have payload capacities that struggle to support even moderate-sized travel trailers once real-world loading is considered. This is not a flaw in the truck so much as a misunderstanding of what the numbers actually mean. Another issue is that towing capacity assumes ideal conditions, flat-rolled temperatures, no wind, no elevation changes, no emergency maneuvers. But RV travel is defined by variables: long climbs up mountain grades, descents that demand sustained braking, crosswinds that push against large flat trailer walls, sudden stops when traffic changes, heat that stresses engines and transmissions, cold that thickens fluids, rain that reduces traction, snow that magnifies every weakness. A vehicle operating near its limits has no buffer for these conditions. Everything feels harder. The engine works hotter. The transmission shifts more aggressively. The brakes fade sooner. The driver becomes more tense, more alert, more exhausted. A setup that is technically within towing capacity can still feel miserable to drive for hours on end. And discomfort is often the first warning sign of a system under strain. Weight distribution hitches help, but they are not magic. They can improve balance and handling, but they do not increase payload capacity or structural limits. They redistribute forces, they do not erase them. Yet many people are led to believe that adding a hitch system somehow makes an overloaded setup safe. It does not. It only masks some symptoms while leaving the underlying problem intact. Another misleading aspect of towing capacity is how trailers are advertised. Dry weight numbers are often highlighted, while real-world loaded weights are quietly ignored. Dry weight excludes water, propane, batteries, food, clothing, cookware, furniture, and optional equipment. In reality, very few RVs ever travel anywhere near their dry weight. A trailer that appears comfortably within towing limits on paper can exceed them once prepared for actual use. Water alone can add hundreds of pounds. Propane adds more. Batteries add more. A full freshwater tank can dramatically change tongue weight. And many people do not realize that loading the front of the trailer increases tongue weight even faster than loading the rear. Small decisions compound quickly. The result is a situation where towing capacity becomes a marketing number rather than a safety guideline. It answers the question, what can this vehicle tow under ideal laboratory conditions, rather than, what should this vehicle tow comfortably and safely in the real world? RV owners need the second answer, but are usually given the first. What often follows is frustration. Trips that were supposed to feel relaxing instead feel tense. Steering corrections become constant. Passing trucks feel intimidating. Wind turns into a battle. Fuel economy drops sharply. Components wear faster. Tires run hotter. Brakes smell after descents. The driver arrives tired, even though nothing dramatic happened. This fatigue is not normal. It is the cost of operating too close to the edge. There is also the issue of legal and insurance consequences. In an accident, investigators may look at actual weights, not advertised capacities. If a vehicle is found to be overloaded in payload or axle ratings, liability can shift quickly. Insurance companies care deeply about whether a vehicle was operated within manufacturer limits. The comforting towing capacity number may not protect anyone when real measurements are taken. What matters more than towing capacity alone are the combined limits: gross vehicle weight rating, gross combined weight rating, axle ratings, tire load ratings, payload, tongue weight percentages, cooling capacity, brake capacity, wheelbase length, suspension design. These are not exciting numbers, and they are rarely highlighted in sales conversations, but they determine whether towing feels stable and safe or constantly stressful. Longer wheelbases generally improve stability. Heavier vehicles often tow more calmly, even if their towing capacity numbers are similar to lighter ones. This is why larger trucks often feel better towing the same trailer, even when smaller trucks are technically rated to do the job. Stability is not just about power. It is about mass, geometry, and margin. Margin is the key word missing from most towing discussions. Operating well below limits gives you room for error. It gives you confidence in wind. It gives you control in emergencies. It reduces wear and tear. It makes long drives feel manageable instead of draining. Yet margin does not sell vehicles as effectively as big, bold numbers. Many experienced RV owners eventually learn this lesson the hard way. They upgrade vehicles not because the old one failed catastrophically, but because towing never felt right. They notice how much calmer the drive becomes with a heavier duty setup, how little steering correction is needed, how braking feels predictable, how crosswinds lose their power. That feeling is not luxury. It is safety expressed as comfort. The most misleading part of towing capacity is not that it exists, but that it is presented without context. It invites people to treat the number as permission rather than as a theoretical ceiling. RV towing works best when you aim far below the ceiling, not just under it. A better approach is to work backward from reality. Start with the actual loaded weight of the RV, not the dry weight. Measure or estimate tongue weight honestly. Add the weight of every person and item in the vehicle. Compare that total to payload capacity. Check axle ratings, check tire limits, consider where and how you will travel. Mountains, wind-prone highways, long distances, extreme temperatures. These things matter more than brochure numbers. When towing feels easy, you are likely doing it right. When it feels hard, the vehicle is telling you something. Machines communicate through effort. Listening early prevents problems later. The towing capacity myth persists because it simplifies a complex subject into a single digestible number. But RV towing is not simple. It is a system of interacting forces that must be balanced thoughtfully. Ignoring that complexity does not make it disappear. It only postpones the consequences. Understanding this does not mean giving up the RV dream. It means choosing equipment that supports the experience rather than fighting it. It means valuing safety, control, and comfort over impressive specifications. It means recognizing that the best towing setup is often the one that feels boringly stable. In the end, towing capacity is not useless because it is wrong. It is useless because it is incomplete. Without understanding payload tongue weight, real-world loading, and operating conditions, the number alone tells you very little about how towing will actually feel or how safe it will be. RV travel should invite calm, not constant vigilance, and calm comes from margin, not from marketing.